Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. That's the true power of heaven and earth, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the apostles and elders and bishops of Great Millstone who taught us this truth and continually teach us this truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect that's laboring in his word and truth sincerity. Lord willing, this could be an edifying video. All right, it's going to be a quick video. Just a, an update, because the MOTB, as we know, is the CHIP. All right. That has to come before this war goes nuclear. So, everything that's happening with this war right now, which it is intensifying, all right, there's reports that, the U.S. may soon do a ground invasion, and Iran is saying that if that happens, they're going to do a ground invasion into, I believe they said, Kuwait and Bahrain. So, everything is, the Lord is putting everything in its place, okay, for this war. All right. But we know that it's not going to go nuclear until the MOTB comes. And as you see right here, BRICS nations discussing linking payment systems and central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, which, they've been speaking about this. But, they're actually about to, move forward with it, because the dollar is through. All right. The US dollar is, it has lost its value. Okay. Is losing its leverage in oil. Okay. It's pretty much on his last leg. And Trump had said not too long ago that losing the dollar as the world reserve currency, he pretty much said that's worse than losing any world war. And BRICS, discussing this, which this is a way to escape the control of the dollar. Babylon does not like this. And Trump also made a statement. He wants to make Babylon the crypto capital of the world. And now he's speaking good about these data centers. All right. Putin is speaking good about AI because he was questioning about it. That's why you see this article above it. It says, "I have never been afraid of anything." That's what he's referring to. Artificial intelligence. So I asked ChatGPT about this, about the whole situation with the CBDCs, just to get more information and see if it's true, which that page, BRICS News, they do put out a lot of news that's that's trustworthy. So I tend to trust mostly everything I see on it. But I said, I just seen an article that said BRICS nations discussing linking payment systems and central bank digital currencies, which Trump, he said there wasn't going to be any CBDCs when he was running, but he changed his whole tune. Why? Because he takes orders. Okay. It says, is this true? Tell me what you know about this. Chat said, yes, the article is real, and this is a significant development. Reuters, which is another reliable news source, reported today, August 11th, 2026, that BRICS countries are discussing connecting their fast payment systems and central bank digital currencies. So, as our apostles been saying, everything is going to go digital. So once things go digital, then they got you. Then they can say, okay, well, there's hacking going on, or this, that, and the third, whatever problems they're having. So we need you to take this device. And then eventually it's going to get to the point where if you don't take it, he's going to kill you. Because he has a way to handle the rebellion for his NWO. That's why they have a lot of guillotines. Okay? They're going to put you in that guillotine. Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. Okay? So, at first things are going to go digital. And then I don't see it being, too long before they bring the chip after that. All right, because like I said, once they got you in the digital. All right, I'm back. The live had ended on its own, but yeah, like I was saying, once they got you in the system, they got you, because it says no man may buy or sell. Which, matter of fact, let's go ahead and get into the scriptures, and then I do want to finish reading what chat said. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. And matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. What's the image of the beast? Their NWO. Okay. It says that the image of the beast should both speak. They're gonna have it set up and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So if you don't take that charagma, the MOTB, is going to get to a point where they're going to put you to death. All right? Because this devil, his agenda, he wants to have everybody have the microchip. Okay? Aaron Russo did the interview on it. We always refer to the interview he had, okay, where he mentioned that they want to put the chip in everybody. Okay? That's the plan, total control. And then as well, this devil doesn't want to go down. All right. He knows that he's running out of time. That's why he's getting ready to come with great wrath. He's just gonna set it up anyway. All right. Because he know that he have but a short time. So it says, and he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. We know that word mark in the Greek is charagma, which means a imprinted mark. But when you look at the root word for charagma, it's charax, which means a palisade, which is a pointed instrument, a pointed, you could look it up. But that's referring to the syringe on how they inject the chip in you. And then they're going to say things like, it's the size of a grain of rice, and they're going to say things to persuade you. And then once this devil merges it with AI and all that, hey, he's really going to deceive people, man, because he'll be able to give you blessings, all right, a form of spiritual power on the left hand, okay? I speak as a man on it, but it would make sense that if they could say, okay, look, if you take these chips in the brain, we can download another language to where you can speak another language. All right. Remember in the Neo movie, how he was like, I know Kung Fu. It was programmed in him. So, they may be able, or they may say they can do that. Because Elon Musk, he said, we'll be able to restore vision to the blind. He said at first it'll be like integrated quality, but it'll get better. So this devil, he is going to be able to do things on the left hand, but the scripture speaks about that grievous sword if you take it. All right. But reading on, well, actually, let me read that again. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, because it don't matter who you are. It ain't gonna be no middle class, high class, low class, none of that. It's gonna be the elites and everybody else. And everybody else will be under the elites. That's why it says all, small and great, rich and poor, free and bond. It don't matter. They want you to take that chip. All right. It says in their right hand or in their foreheads. So your right hand is just your dominant hand. It don't have to be your right hand. It could be your left hand. Okay. It's other versions of the scriptures where, well, in other chapters, like Revelation, the 14th chapter, it doesn't say right hand. It says hand or hands, letting you know it could be any hand. And Elon Musk, as I was just speaking on the brain chip, that's the forehead. Which you got people with it, and they're able to play Mario Kart with their thoughts. Play Call of Duty with their thoughts and shit. It says in that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you won't be able to buy or sell unless you have the chip. Okay, just like today, you can't buy or sell unless what? You have FRNs or you have a debit card, credit card, okay, or some kind of payment, Apple Pay, something that they got set up. Even though gold is worth money, gold is real money. You can't buy groceries with gold. You can't give them gold and get a receipt. You have to give them a debit card, credit card, or FRNs. So once this chip is made mandatory, you're gonna have to have the chip. Okay? But if you take it, you're gonna die. You're guaranteed to die in a second death if you live to the return of the Lord. Because just because you take it, they don't guarantee survival. Because a lot of people is gonna take it for survival purposes because they're gonna want to eat. Okay, but this is Revelation chapter 14 verse 8, and there followed another angel saying, Babylon is fallen, that great city, because she made all nations drink of the wine of the wrath of her fornication. And the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image, which is you participating in the NWO by taking the chip, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand. See, it don't say right hand, so it could be left hand or right hand. The same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So if you take the chip, you're guaranteed to die in the second death. That's why it's important to speak on this. Because when Yahushua comes, as it said, which we know Yahushua is the Lamb, and he's coming with the angels, that fire and brimstone is going to be from the nukes, man. Okay? Unless you get zapped by a chariot, by a laser beam from the chariot, which that'll be better than dying in that second death. Okay? But let's jump back. So let's read what chat said. So he already confirmed the article. It says, what exactly is happening? The important distinction is that BRICS has not launched one unified digital currency. Instead, they're discussing ways for their separate national payment systems and CBDCs to communicate with each other. So they're trying to make purchases in their own currencies. Okay? Because Russia got the ruble, China got the yuan, the petro yuan, and so forth. So pretty much what they're trying to come to is, if somehow we could make payments like it just said, in our own currency, but digitally. Okay, it says, for example, India digital rupee, China digital yuan, Russia digital ruble, Brazil digital real. South Africa is developing CBDC infrastructure. So they already have their digital currencies. Okay. It says the idea would be that someone in one BRICS country could potentially make a cross-border payment using their country's digital currency, while the receipt receives their own country's currency without needing the transaction to pass through the traditional dollar-based system. So just like with this crypto shit, which it's been a trial run. You buy Bitcoin, or you buy Dogecoin, or you buy one of these cryptos, VeChain. You're buying it. VeChain is its own currency, but you can cash it out back into dollars. So pretty much what they'll be able to do. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I had to send them a message. So pretty much what they're doing is damn, I lost my train of thought. Pretty much they can buy things in their currency, and once they do it, it'll switch to that country's currency, since it's all digital. So it says India's central bank had already proposed connecting BRICS CBDCs earlier this year, and the European Central Bank has specifically noted India's proposal in its 2026 report on the international monetary system. Why does this matter? For the U.S. dollar, this is where things get interesting. Today, a huge amount of international trade ultimately relies on local currency, dollar, intermediary banking system, foreign currency. BRICS is exploring infrastructure that could make rupee, yuan, ruble, real, etc. much easier directly. It says that doesn't mean the dollar suddenly disappears, but if enough international trade can settle without converting through dollars, it could gradually reduce the dollar's role in international payments, you see? And so Babylon does not like this. So Babylon, since they want to be number one, they're about to launch their own shit. And they always want to be the first ones to do something. That's why they faked that moon landing. Because they was in a race with Russia, which was the Soviet Union at the time. They were trying to beat them, you know, to going to the moon. Salakia. Took a drink of that smoothie. So yeah, so you know, this is major because once everything goes digital, the chip is gonna come. And I don't see it coming, you know, a long way off once things are fully digital. You know, I see it coming quickly. Because I mean, look at what's going on with this war. You know, there's been talks of using nukes. All right, they've been wanting to use nukes. Okay, Trump, he wanted to hit the button, and there was somebody in the White House, I forget his name, but pretty much he walked out. You know, Larry Johnson was telling the story. You know, he got a lot of credible sources, so you know it's believable. You know, and it came out. There's been plenty of times where, you know, there was about to be nuclear war, but the chariots would malfunction. You know, the pretty much would make it not happen because the Most High is going to have it happen when He chooses. Man's goings are of the Lord. Okay, so I just wanted to do this update, but actually, since I had quoted it, let's go ahead and grab that because it's going to get real, man. It's going to get to the point where Esau, he's going to be like a madman sparing none. And if you don't take that chip, he's going to kill you. This is Revelation chapter 20, verse 4. And I saw thrones, and they sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahushua and for the word of the Most High, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Hamashiach 1,000 years. So he saw men of the Lord that didn't worship the image of the beast, meaning they didn't take that chip, and they were beheaded. So, you know, that's how it's going to get. All right? Because Esau knows that he has but a limited time. He knows that his end is nigh. The chariots are showing themselves more and more to where these nations are you know, moving quicker in the agenda because they see what's going on. Okay? And best believe they all can see it. Best believe China, you know, because they have satellites. Best believe they're seeing the chariots. Russia's seeing them. Okay? They all got their classified documents on the chariots, man. But Lord willing, this was edifying. With that, I'm going to say shalom. And Lord willing, this video saves.